Real quick, before I even start, I'm going to apologize about any construction noise. I'm not sure if the mic's picking it up or not. I'm Sam Dean, and I have been fat the majority of my life. Certainly the entirety of my adult life. Somehow I managed to find a beautiful woman to marry me despite all of it. I don't have any excuses for how I got here, and I'm not going to get into the things I've done to try to lose weight or my eating habits or any of that bullshit. That's not what this video is about. This is also not a motivational video about losing weight or courage or a sob story or any of that bullshit. This is just my thoughts as they rolled off of my fingers as I typed them down. This is me telling you what life is like for fat people. And if you're fat, you probably can relate to some of this stuff. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of insight into how I work with that in my brain. First of all, I don't want to be fat. That is not the point of this either. I think that there's a little bit of a movement about political correctness regarding fat people, and I think discrimination against anyone, whether it be to disability or race or age or anything, is wrong in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to say that I don't disagree with that stuff. I also don't think that anyone, aside from American football linebackers or sumo wrestlers, really want to be fat and are working towards that as an end goal. Fat people don't want to be fat, but there are circumstances that keep fat people fat. I'm not going to get into those details either. That's just other stuff. I'm also going to turn down the camera a little bit right now. Secondly, I don't think that we should ever settle on not making ourselves better. And that's physical, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual. These things are things that we need to be working on our entire life. Without those things, we're basically just waiting to die. And because of that, there is zero reason that I feel that I should settle for being fat. Once again, not one of those videos, so I'm not going down that path. What I'm going to talk about is the perception of being fat and the things that people think about me, the way it feels to walk through a mall or anywhere, and the judgment that you feel. So much about being fat comes down to this feeling. Just to put things in perspective a little bit, 4 years ago, I was 40 pounds lighter than I am right now, and I hated myself. Not in the sense of, I'm trying to like slit my wrist or anything like that. I just hated the way I looked. I wouldn't, take off my shirt or something at a pool. There was videos that went out about that time, and I've always been enough of a spotlight whore to not let that get in the way, but I still felt bad. I would always look at the video afterwards and go, oh my god, I look like shit. I'd always tell the camera guy to keep the camera panned as high as possible to ignore how fat I was so that you're not seeing how gigantic my stomach is. So in that time, and a lot of time in my life, I continued to put my energy and investment into work and having fun, and then kind of ignored all these other areas of my life I should be investing in. You see, these other areas are just as key to the whole weight thing as the physical side. If I lost 100 pounds right now, but I didn't have my shit together and I didn't have the mental wherewithal, I would keep beating myself up, and it would never be enough because I didn't fix the problem in the first place, and that's loving myself. So about a year ago, my wife and my daughter and I moved to Thailand, Bangkok, Thailand, which is kind of weird. I still unplug your holes. I still work and do things here. I just left a lot of the physical stuff up to our Kansas City staff. We did it because we wanted to see the world through a different lens, at least temporarily. Nothing profound or any bullshit like that. I just wanted to see the world in a way that I'd never seen it. Living in Thailand was the way to do that. We had been here a few times in the past. We've always really enjoyed it. We have some good friends here. It seemed like the right thing to do. It also seemed like the right time. We were between places. We wanted to buy a house. Once we have the house, there's that obligation to that house, making it harder to live overseas. In addition to that, our daughter was only a year and a half old, not really attached to any social groups or school or anything yet, so we felt that this is the best time for her to be taken as opposed to, being uprooted later in life. But here's the thing about Thailand. Thais stare. Almost all of them, almost everywhere I go, almost all of the time, I'm being stared at. Sometimes it's because of the tattoos, sometimes it's because of the color of my skin under the tattoos, sometimes it is because of my weight, sometimes it's because I'm holding a camera out and talking to it, sometimes all of the above. Some of these people are kind and curious. Others are mean-spirited and judgmental, and I pity them for it. None of that matters. I realized at the end of the day, nothing is different. Not one of these people can affect me unless I let them. And at the end of the day, I am all of the things that they're looking at me for. Those aren't going to change. None of these things make me any more or less of the man I am. I'm still a father, a husband, a friend, and a boss to some of the greatest employees that any business owner has ever had on the face of the earth. None of that changes, fat or skinny. In the end, moving here has taught me to give a whole lot less fucks about all of it. This isn't to say that I calloused myself and I give a lot less fucks about everything. Exactly the opposite is true. I'm giving so many less fucks about this stuff that I can give way more fucks about stuff that matters. The other day I posted a video, the staycation video, the second one. Yeah, the second one. Where, maybe the first one? I don't remember. There'll be a link right there. I posted a video where I was in a pool. You see myself multiple times without a shirt on, and in addition to the fact that I was recording all of this, I was surrounded by 2 other pools that had a bunch of people in them, people constantly walking by of all ethnicities and genders and ages and everything else. And above those pools are hundreds of apartments looking down. Sam Dean of 4 years ago would have not done this. I wouldn't have taken off my shirt, I wouldn't have gotten in the pool, and I sure as shit wouldn't have posted it on the internet. The shirt doesn't make me fat or not. Swimming does not make me fat or not. The internet seeing me in a flattering or unflattering way doesn't change any of this. More importantly, it doesn't change the man I am. Not to my daughter, my wife, my friends, my employees, and hopefully not to you. Fat people do not want to be fat. But we can do nothing in this moment that will change us in this moment. It won't go away overnight. And losing 5 pounds when you have 95 to go can seem like a fucking mountain to climb sometimes. We all need to love ourselves where we're at. After you love yourself, you can work towards any goal you want, but you need to be doing it without the self-loathing and self-hatred and judgment. You need to love yourself. My challenge to you is to be your beautiful self. How many of your friends are your friends because of the way that either of you look? Start treating yourself like a friend. Understand that it is your character and all the things inside that make you you and make everyone love you, and that nobody gives a shit about how fat you are. If you can treat yourself like a friend, the rest will fall in line. I usually don't go on about something like this. I think most of my videos are pretty lighthearted, but I have felt the pain of judgment from other people for my entire life. What I failed to realize, though, is that I was the biggest judge of all. I'm the one who puts more judgment on me than any other human being in the world. I really hope that these words can encourage someone, anyone. Maybe these words are for you, maybe they're not. I hope that somebody gets some encouragement to love themselves just a little bit more. Stop worrying about all the bullshit. Don't beat yourself up about not going to the gym. Don't beat yourself up over anything. What's important first is you. The rest will fall in line, but you can't do it without loving yourself. All right. Cheers.